Calgary Stampeders Canadian receiver Jalen Philpot joins us. And Jalen, I got to ask you right away. Tyson says he's the better flag football player. How do you respond?
No, I don't think so at all. I got the old running back in me, so the juke side to side, I feel like I translate a lot better. I'm a better flagger than him too, so ask him. There's a reason why I was the rusher when we played. So,
He did say that. He
yeah.
thought that would intimate that you weren't as athletic as him because you were the rusher and the running back.
Whatever Tyson says goes, I guess.
No, you get your piece
Yeah,
too.
yeah, no, yeah. We'll have to see. Hey, coming to a field soon.
He did talk about wanting to play for Canada
For sure.
at the Olympics and even said that he feels like competing with the maple leaf on your chest would be bigger than what he's done in the Grey Cup, which is score the game-winning touchdown with just seconds left on the clock. You haven't won a Grey Cup yet, but how would you feel about that in terms of comparing the two? What would be bigger, winning a gold medal at the Olympics, playing for Canada at the Olympics, or winning a Grey Cup?
Yeah, I think that's tougher for me. Obviously I don't have the Grey Cup, so I think having the Grey Cup ring with my brother and my dad, being the first father-sons duo to have a Grey Cup, that's legacy, that's history. So I'd say I'm a little bit more inclined to a Grey Cup win for sure, but it's so close. That gold medal in the Olympics, especially with us, the upbringing of us playing flag football, basically all our lives, and I wouldn't say I'm the same football player I am today without flag football. So I think it's up there for sure.
Do you have the same ambition as your brother to play flag football at the Olympics for Team Canada?
1000%. I think for just the game of football, in Canada, be able to get to that stage and not only compete, but to show teams that, hey, Canada's got football and it's just as good as you, if not better than you. I think that would be huge for the country and just for the growth of the game in the country. So definitely would love to do that. If I get the call, I'll answer that phone call easily.
How do you think you would go through the mechanics of that with Calgary? Like BC has given Nathan Rourke the blessing.
For sure.
Tyson talked about having a conversation with Montreal.
For sure.
What might that look like?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a open conversation. It's the Olympics at the end of the day. There's a reason why they only come around every 4 years, and having the opportunity to represent Canada for the first time. It's never been a part of the Olympics, so you want a strong showing. I think that's a conversation that obviously would need to be but I think it's an open conversation. And I feel like guys like Nate and whoever else follows along that path of deciding that they want to play, I think it's definitely should be an open topic.
When you look at the potential competition for those roster spots, CFL players, NFL players, veteran flag players, how real is that competition for even as good as you guys are?
It's real for sure, and that's one thing that I definitely have considered in my mind too. Those guys that are out there competing right now for Team Canada that are we're not eligible for the Olympics even yet, so they got to go out there and win games and prove that we can get to the Olympics by qualifying. So don't want to take anything away from those guys. They're earning it and they're the ones going out and doing the dirty work. But at the end of the day, I feel like if there's a open tryout and a open workout where you can get some guys from the CFL to at least compete and try, I think it definitely should happen. But there is it's a complete different game. It's not something that you can just translate easy to for sure. And I would definitely need to practice a little bit for sure. But it's something that I'm open to doing.
You do have a lot of experience, so I would imagine for you and your brother, it's like riding a bike.
For sure.
For the people out there that don't know, and honestly, including me, because I'm learning about the game, what are some of the real key differences?
You've got to be so aware of your surroundings, especially for rushing, which I have a lot of experience in. The rusher has a straight line to the quarterback, so any drag routes, the center snapping the ball, you got to get out of the rusher's way. That's a flag every single time if the rusher stops his feet. Along with the physicalityness, there's no physicality at all. Like it is hands off, especially as DBs. You are not allowed to put hands on, no pushing off. It changes the game a lot. You've got to play way more technical. You've got to play with your feet, and it's a reaction thing. And I'd say that another big thing for the skilled guys is no jumping. So when you're making moves, cutting, and the jump cuts and all that kind of stuff is completely out of it. Your feet have to be on the ground the entire time. So there is some intricacies and rules that would take some guys a little bit to learn and to kind of adapt to. But I feel like again, with my experience, it's something that I'm aware of the rules already, so I got an advantage for sure.
Tyson talked about the impact that it could have potentially for the CFL as a whole. And the
Sure.
example he used was him making a catch lining up against Patrick Surtain, perhaps, who's an all-pro defensive back in the NFL. Do you feel the same way?
1000%. I think you can't take anything away from that. You know, you got a NFL All Pro, and you know CFL guy that's proven that he's been one of the better players in the league for sure. And you know, all eyes are going to be on that stage at that point. So how can you tell somebody that Canadian football players aren't skilled if you are beating a guy like Patrick Surtain in a field that is completely smaller? You know, it's skill at the end of the day. So I don't think you can take that away from Tyson or whoever does it. So
Both of you have played offense and defense in the flag game.
correct. Yeah.
What's harder?
Defense for sure. Like I said, the non-physicality part of it, where you can't press the guy, you can't put hands on, that's tough. And then flagging, man, flagging is the hardest thing. I don't know if anyone watched the Fanatics game. I was watching that, you know, and you see how hard it is to flag with those NFL guys just completely missing, grabbing for air, and with the hip drop too with the American guys, it's different. But yeah, flagging is probably the hardest thing.
Were you surprised that Team USA beat the NFL players?
No, not at all. You know, the way also how I looked at it too was, you know, those American flag guys had to win. You know, there was no way that they were going to lose that game just for the aspect of they were probably going to lose their job kind of thing, you know, versus the NFL guys less risk, or sorry, more risks, less reward kind of thing. So not surprised, but I you know, I've seen flag football at its highest level. I've competed for national championships in Canada. I can see how competitive, how crazy the games get. So yeah, not surprised at all.
Let's turn to the CFL now. Calgary Stampeders last year looked like a really dangerous team, a problem,
Yep.
dare I say, early in the season, even midway through the season. I said this to Vernon Adams Jr. I knew that because Saskatchewan Roughriders fans were saying in the playoffs, they didn't want to play Calgary.
Yep.
They were actually happy, I think, to
Yep.
play BC, all due respect. How does the team, though, carry that through an entire season, get to a Grey Cup and win it?
Yeah, I think it starts early. I think it's something that we started off in camp last year, and it was just the energy and the vibe of we have to do everything for ourselves. There is not going to be in the media, they're not really going to be talking about us as much. You know, the poll rankings were close to the bottom, which is a normal start for us in their eyes. But it was kind of one of those things where we said that if we want respect, we got to go out and get it. No one's going to give it to us. We could beat Saskatchewan. We're still going to be ranked below Saskatchewan kind of thing.
Beat them
So
twice. Handily.
exactly. So at the end of the day, you know, we know who we wanted to play, and we knew who we weren't afraid of. So I think we just build on that this year. We use the motivation again of us getting ranked close to the bottom. You know, it's fuel for us, and match that with a home playoff, home Grey Cup. That could be scary for sure.
Could be pretty sweet hoisting
it
that
could.
Grey Cup at home.
Oh yeah.
Vernon Adams Jr. was talking about, for himself personally, consistency.
Yep.
He's been mentioned in MOP conversations, especially at the start of seasons,
sure.
but he wants to carry it through. You have been talking about consistency in terms of staying on the field,
Yep.
and that is actually the hardest part about making the jump from U Sports, perhaps even the NCAA,
100%.
to the CFL. So what's gone into that for you to play as many games as you have the last two seasons compared to the first couple in the league?
Yeah, it's really just taking care of the body and prioritizing off season. I think that's something that I've really kind of figured out. I want to say versus my first couple of years in the CFL. You know, you got that mentality. I'm still a young guy. You know, I can still train all the time. You know, I don't really need to take a break off. I want to get better, kind of thing. And sometimes it's just too much. You know, with the 18 game regular season games, it's one of those things where it's a grind for sure. So the best ability is availability, you know, they always say. So just finding what works for you. And I felt like I did a great job 2 years ago finding, the Stampeders did a great job finding a good new strength coach who I've stuck close by in the offseason. You know, I spend my offseason in Calgary. So just being able to be close to him, you know, run everything through him. He does all of my programming and stuff. It's just helped me stay healthy, play pretty much 95% of the games the last 2 years, and just really become a true pro.
Can that help you get to the level of contract where your brother's at? He reset the Canadian receiver market, $275,000 in 2026. Samuel Emelis jumped him just a little
He
bit,
did.
but that market has blown up. Is that
Yeah.
something you're aiming for?
Oh, 1,000%. You know, that's something that it's not in the front of my mind, but it's in the back of my mind, of course. You know, when, you know, your contract's coming up at the end of the year, it's something that you got to think about, and you got to compare yourself when you're hearing contract talks from whether it's your team or other teams. But it's just something that's so cool, I think, for the league, to see these two Canadian guys like that who, like you said, have been consistent the last couple of years, have raised the bar for Canadian receiver play in the CFL. Us as Canadian players, we don't consider ourselves Canadians. We play in the CFL. This is our league. So it's just super cool to see those guys dominate at the highest level and help us other Canadians, get a little extra money in our pocket is always nice.
You had your best season last year in terms of production.
Yeah.
How do you stack on top of that and be even better?
I think it's just confidence. It's one of those things where last year knew I was going to play a bigger role for sure, and knew we had some new guys coming in, like Vernon, who likes to spread the ball around and big play VA, make plays. So how could I adapt my game to him and help us both? So. I feel like I got such a good connection with him now where it's, we're talking all the time and, I kind of feel he knows where I'm going to be and kind of I know what he's looking for when he wants to throw me the ball kind of thing. So it's just building that relationship with him, building a relationship with all the guys in the locker room. And I'm kind of at the point now where, I know what I can do in this league. So now it's just going out there and proving that every single week.
You just got back from a trip to Arizona to train with a bunch of Alouettes.
I did. Yeah.
What's that like for a Stampeders player to train with a rival team?
Yeah, it's bittersweet. Those guys, they all work super hard. There's a reason why they're at the top of the league every year, and so it's cool to see that from the inside. But it's tough. They're talking about how they're gonna be this great team this year, and I'm kind of sitting there like, yeah, you guys will be, but we're gonna be the team in the West for sure. So bittersweet, but it's just cool to see how hard those guys work and how the work translates, and I'd love to do that with my game too.
I didn't actually ask Tyson this, but at this point in your careers, who's faster and who's stronger? Or are you exactly the same because of the twins?
Yeah, early on in our career, I would have gave it to Tyson for sure. We were in Phoenix. We were actually laser testing and doing power, and I got him in speed and power now. So, yeah. Hey, man, the numbers don't lie. So I got him right now. He's got some work to do, but we're pretty similar, though.
Yeah, it's part of a great rivalry between the two brothers.
Yes,
Jalen,
sir.
great to catch up with you and wish you all the best this season.
Appreciate that, man. Thanks so much.